Hey, I'm Ryan with Warner Discovers, and today we're going to look at how I upgraded my SSD to an mSATA. Now, I've been dealing with this SSD for a while now in my server. It's 120 gigs. It's worked great. I've been really happy with it, but sometimes I get worried about the amount of space that's getting used up, especially if an application goes crazy with logging or what have you. So with the motherboard that I upgraded to in my previous video a few months ago, it does have an mSATA port. So I'm going to upgrade to this mSATA 1TB drive. So I'm going to be able to take this out and leave this in the motherboard. Really easy, hook in, screw it down, and that's it. So let's see how it goes. Today I am looking to upgrade my SSD drive in my server, and I have a new mSATA 1TB drive because there is an mSATA port on the motherboard in here. So let's see how this goes. So I haven't opened this up in a little while, but you can see here there's the mini PCIe/SATA port. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this drive and put it right there. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the original SSD, but I could potentially take a few connectors out here and just free up a little space. And otherwise I can swap in a larger one or use it elsewhere. So I have the mSATA in, and it folds down this little screw port there. And this goes right in there to secure it. Now it's secured and in there, and let's boot it up and start transferring the data. For this process, I'm using System Rescue, which has a graphical user interface, as well as a terminal, and a ton of different utilities in here to help you with whatever you need in terms of System Rescue. So just gonna use this for upgrading. So using GParted, we can see all the devices really easily in here. You can see the main hard drive up here, and then this backup drive I have, it's 3 terabytes, and then the new drive, and then the USB drive. And then you can also see some of that using blk in the terminal. Next, I'm going to use ddrescue to basically copy everything from SDA to SDC. And this will go through all the blocks and convert them over. So ddrescue finished. And then if we go over to GParted, then I refreshed it, go back to the new hard drive, and now we can see everything is there, and we can go ahead and expand the unallocated space. So I'm going to take the extended portion here, resize, and then max it out. And then when I'm ready, I can hit apply. Now I expanded the unallocated space into dev SDC2, so now the unallocated space is underneath this, but everything is copied from the original dev SDA, so it's a little confused between these logical volumes. So we're going to shut it down and disconnect this original one and only have this one come up. So I disconnected the 2 other drives that were in here, so now it's just the new hard drive and the flash drive. So the new hard drive is now dev SDA, which looks exactly like the original drive, so we don't need to do any real changes to the logical volumes in here. But the unallocated space we had already moved underneath dev SDA2, so now we can go ahead and do a resize under here for its entirety. There we go. Now if we check in the terminal, pvresize dev SDA5, and then pvs, you can see the entirety is being used. Then we also want to do this lvextend to extend the root volume, so you can see this change from 103 gigs to the whole terabyte. Now one last thing is we also need to resize the actual root file system with resize to fs. It recommends doing a FISC before that. It found 2 blocks that you might think is an issue, copied over. So those were taken care of, and now it's actually resizing once more. Now if I do a vgscan and we look at vgdisplay, we can see the new VG size for the volume group. Then if we do an LVS, we can see the root and swap partitions. And then lvscan also shows the same. And just to check some more, I just made a root directory mount and then mounted the root volume. And then if we do a df-h, you can see at the bottom here the available space, the size, and the used. Something you might also need to do is edit your fstab file. So in here, there's some UUIDs that pertain to the hard drive and the logical volume. And in there, I just updated them. And you can obtain some of those using blkid and doing one for swap, one for boot, and one for root. After that, I mounted devsda1 to mount root boot, because that's the boot partition, and then I bound all of these different folders, and then did this chroot /root, which basically logs into the actual environment of the system. And then what we're going to do next is update the init ramfs and update the grub. So I ran the update -init ramfs. There's some warnings, but I don't use RAID according to online. This is more RAID related, and then I did update grub, and then this updated the grub. And now we will unmount all those other folders and reboot. So I'm back on the system here. You can see the df-h shows the full terabyte, so I'm using 8%. And then the lsblk shows the new device showing up as SDB because the 3 terabyte drive shows up as SDA. It seems like the mSATA drives show up lower than the SATA drives, but that's fine, not a big deal. And then finally you can see the swap on summary actually shows something there, so we should be good to go, and we are upgraded. So I hope this helped anybody looking to do the same. I was doing an Ubuntu transfer, so if you have a logical volume that you're looking to transfer from one hard drive to another, then I hope this video can help you. Otherwise, maybe a little niche of an area that may be a very particular set of steps that I needed that you might not need. But let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching, and I hope this helps somebody else.